Hey kids, how you doing? It's me, your TV pal, Comic Book Man, with your calendar of savings here at Alternate Reality for February 2010. First up will be the Winter Wonderland sale, which is going to be going on from the 2nd through the 6th, and in that, all my back issues are half off, all statues and action figures 25% off, and everything else in the store is 20% off, and of course, there'll be a raffle mania. Second thing up this month is Women in Comics Week, which will be the 15th through the 20th. All my superheroine trades are going to be buy two, get one free. Of course, Spawn is the hero of the month here at Alternate Reality, and finally, Founders Day is the 20th. So stop off here at Alternate Reality in February and save some money.
It's time again for comic reviews with Sweet Talking Dan.
Oh, Jar Jar, everyone hates you but me. Mwah.
Hey kids, how you doing? Comic Book Man here. Welcome to my video outhouse. It's time once again for
Sweet Talking.
with Sweet Dan Sweet.
Oh, there's always time for that.
Always.
And Dan's here to review one comic today. One comic only. Comes from the Vertigo family over at the DC Universe. And it comes from Mr. Grant Morrison,
That's
who
right.
has done so many wonderful things at DC.
And he's done a lot of good stuff at DC.
And it's a dollar book. It's a dollar book. It's a dollar book.
It's a dollar.
Which means you should pick it up if just for the fact it's a
For
dollar.
a dollar, and it's a
what
number
the
one. It
hell?
might be worth $1 million in the future.
An American dollar?
And that book is Joe the Barbarian #1.
That's right.
And tell us about Joe the Barbarian #1.
It is interesting. It's Grant Morrison.
That's always a plus.
It is, especially if it's Grant Morrison. It needs to be interesting.
Yes.
It's a weird story where a kid, sort of his life, school life, social life is less than satisfactory. He's getting picked on. He's having issues with girls. He's having issues with school. His parents don't necessarily pay attention to him the way he wants them to. He's a diabetic. Life is hard.
So he's essentially a comic book fan.
He's a basement dweller.
Okay.
Except he lives in the attic, and it's really cool, and he has a lot of cool tchotchke stuff in his attic that reminds me of stuff that I was a kid, that we had, so that was neat. He enters this world where his
How
toys...
does he get there? How does he get there?
It's weird. It's Grant Morrison. You're not
Okay.
quite clear on how he gets... He falls asleep. He could be dreaming. That's where I'm getting to. He enters
He's carving
this
bats
world.
on a wall.
He enters this world,
Yeah.
and Grant shows him in the world, but Grant also shows him in his own bedroom talking to thin air, not even like to his toys. Like, he's having conversations with teddy bears and stuff in this far-out fictional place, and then at the same time, Grant shows him in the bedroom having conversations with nobody. Okay. So, in the Grant Morrison style, I wonder, is this kid touched?
Yeah.
Like, you want to think it's just an innocent story where a kid enters this never-ending story type world where there's all sorts of fantasy stuff going on. And at the same time, there's this underlying feeling that this is a little bit dark and it's a little bit twisted. And I'm not saying it's the first issue, so I can't say with any real degree of certainty.
Is that a bad thing?
No, I thought it was something. It was a take on that type of story that I hadn't seen. At least allowing me to think maybe there's something wrong with this kid, and it's not just this fantastic magical thing. I thought that was really interesting, and it seems like a trick he would use.
Well, seeing as how it's a comic book and it's a Vertigo comic, I would assume, and I could be wrong about this because I'm just pulling this out right now.
Hey.
But yeah, I would assume that the kid is living in two worlds, fantasy world and the real world, except his consciousness goes into the fantasy world while his body stays in the real world where he's talking. So people look at him like he's nuts, and that would be a very Vertigo, very Grant Morrison type thing. Of course, I could be totally wrong about that.
And I could
but
be
that
too.
sort of sounds like to me.
But that's the cool thing, is while it reminds me of the stuff of Legend, where the boy is kidnapped by the boogeyman and his toys go to save him, it's sort of the opposite. He's going to save his toys.
And you like stuff of
I
Legend a lot.
love stuff like that. I'll be honest. I love stuff of Legend. I love anything with talking animals or talking toys. I'm a sucker for that sort of adult take on the kid's story. Yeah. Just because it's so fantastic. It's so out there and magical, and yet Morrison, he almost scares me a little bit with it because I don't know where he's going to take it. Sean Murphy illustrates. Awesome.
How's the art?
Super good.
Okay.
It's super good. The guy's style is...
It looks a little dark.
It is dark. It's dark. It's colored dark. But it fits the theme of the book, and it's not the book isn't dark throughout. There's a lot that goes on in the outside world before he even enters the fantasy world. He gets picked on by a bunch of kids, gets the crap kicked out of him, stuff like that. He's in the car with his mom, and she's talking at him, not to him. So there's light parts of the art that really play well off the dark portions that you deal with.
Thematically, it sounds a little bit like Sweet Tooth.
I don't want to compare it to Sweet Tooth in the sense the stories are completely opposite, but yeah, the art style is
Well, I mean, Sweet Tooth, the kid's got antlers coming out of his head, and he's a freak and all that. But
It's exactly-
but he's still out. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not with the real world. He's in his own world, trying to live in the real world.
This kid definitely comes off as a freak, and I'm anxious to see where Grant takes it. For $1, you can't. I mean, you can't skip it. It's ignorant too.
It's a buck.
It's a buck.
Buy two.
It's a buck. Now, not to put you on the spot, Vertigo did a bunch of $1 stuff last year. Unwritten was one of them. Unwritten number
Sweet
one was
Tooth
one
was
of them.
one of them.
Sweet Tooth was one of them. There was at least one other. I forget what it is.
There's always good ones.
But yeah, for a buck.
Greek Street.
Greek Street. Yeah, Greek Street. That's what I was thinking. Greek Street. For a buck, I mean, you can't go wrong picking the thing up. And at the very least, you know, you've blown a buck on it. If it's no good, throw it out.
And to be honest, Vertigo books are rarely more than $2.99.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they've done a real good job holding the price point down on Vertigo books. They're all $2.99 except for those big hardcovery things that they're doing. That
yeah.
are original.
So if you get it and you like it, don't be worried about it. It's only another $2 to buy the book monthly. So I don't know, man. I think the $1 first issue thing at Vertigo, most genius idea that ever happened to that thing.
Yeah.
That whole company. I mean, and the books are coming out right now are better than some of the stuff that came out in the past. I really like the new run of Vertigo stuff.
Bo and I have bitched in the past about Vertigo and its lack of direction, but over the last year, previous to that we were bitching about, over the last year, it really is focused over the last year on doing good stories with artists and writers that you wouldn't necessarily expect to be working, like Sweet Tooth or like Greek Street. Wouldn't expect to be doing stories like this, even at Vertigo. And they've really done a good job with the line over the last year.
And I'm enjoying it immensely. So this is another Vertigo book that I'm stuck picking up every month because I can't go without it.
Okay. He reviewed this book on the website. You can read it on the website. And where do you go to read it on the website? There's only one person on the face of the earth that knows.
Who?
And her name is Sarah.
Where?
www.myalternatereality.com. Write it down.
So, stop off at the store's website, read his review. Until next time, this is Comic Book Man
Sweet Dan.
saying bye! Hey kids, your TV pal Comic Book Man here to remind you that the January Alternate Reality Hero of the Month is none other than The Incredible Hulk. That's right, all my Incredible Hulk trade paperbacks are 25% off all month long. Not the junky ones, not the overstock, not stuff I can't get rid of, but every single Incredible Hulk trade paperback in the house is 25% off all January long. It doesn't matter whether he's green, gray, red, purple, orange, hulked up, scarred up, she-hulked up, screwed up. They're all 25% off all month long here at Alternate Reality. Alternate Reality is located at 3149 West 111th Street. That's the intersection of 111th and Kedzie in Chicago, the beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood neighborhood. You can always reach us at 773-881-HERO or at the store's website, www.myalternatereality.com.